Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to cover another fidget spinner, this time with 3 parts at the sides. Now, as far as the supplies go, all you're going to need is 3 pieces of paracord, each about 2 feet long. You're also going to need a roller blade bearing, some scissors and a lighter, and finally some glue to hold everything in place. Let's begin. I have in the past already covered this version with a cross look, and this time we're going to do the triangular one. I also enjoyed this look, and I think it is even a bit easier to do. You can do it without the lanyard knots at the end, but I enjoy having them to make my spinner a bit heavier. The first step in making this style of a spinner is to prepare the bearing in the middle. This is a roller blade bearing, and I prepare it by removing the top and bottom, then getting the grease that is inside out of it. I usually use a knife in order to make a small dent at the top and the bottom, and then I use more of a blunt object in order to pry it open. When working with a knife, be very careful not to hurt yourself. In the middle you can find some grease, and this grease is a bit hard to remove. You're going to need some substance, such as acetone. I also heard people using gasoline or nail polish remover, anything that will help you get rid of this grease. After you have done that, we can move on. Once you have cleaned out the grease out of your bearing, it's going to start spinning a lot more smoothly. We're now going to form the outside part of our spinner, and to do that we're going to need 3 cords. These cords are 2 feet each, and we're going to need 2 to start. Move 1 to the side. Find about the middle point in your 2 cords. Take your left hand and create a loop, like this. Then with your right hand, go through the loop. Then behind your left hand, over the top, and into the loop on the right. Then tighten up. We're going to line up 2 more snake knots. So make another loop with your left hand, go through the loop with your right hand, then behind your left hand, over the top, and into the loop on the right. Again, tighten up. Now for the third snake knot, again pick up your left hand, and make a loop. With your right hand, go through the loop, then behind your left hand, over the top, and into the loop on the right. Again, tighten up. We have now lined up 3 snake knots, just like in this spinner here. And you can leave some space for the lanyard knot, or you can just cut the ends if you don't want to form one. We're now going to introduce the third cord, and we're going to place it next to one of the free ends. And we're going to line up 3 more snake knots. So again, pick up your left hand and create a loop. Feed your right hand through. Then behind your left end, over the top and into the loop on the right. Tighten up. As you can see, I left a little space here. This is because the bearing comes in between here, so we need a little space. And we can continue by lining up 2 more snake knots. Pick up your left end again, form a loop, go through the loop with your right end, behind your left end, over the top and into the loop on the right. And then tighten up. And one more. Make a loop with the left end, go through the loop with your right end, behind the left end, and over the top and into the loop on the right. With that, we have 2 sets of 3 snake knots complete. We're going to move to the last pair of cords. Again, leave a little space for your bearing and start your snake knot line. So the loop with your left end, go through the loop with your right end, behind the left end, over the top and into the loop on the right. At this point, it is a good idea to fit your bearing and see if it's going to fit in nicely. You're also going to need to space out your snake knots so you have the same width between these 2 columns and these 2 and these 2. So this should be about right, but I'm going to fix it even more later. Finish up with 2 more snake knots. So the loop with your left end, go through with your right end, behind, over the top and into the loop on the right. And again tighten up. And again. I'm now going to retighten all of my snake knots just to make everything even. And at that point we're going to finish with a lanyard knot on each of the snake knot columns. After you have adjusted your snake knots and spaced them around your bearing evenly, add in a few drops of glue just to hold everything in place. At this point, you could just cut and melt the ends and have a nice looking spinner already. I'm going to also show you how to add in a lanyard knot just to make your spinner a bit longer and heavier. This is completely optional, but I like it. I have 2 cords here that are coming out of the snake knot. Pick up your left end and make a loop. Pick up your right end and fold it towards the top and go under the loop. Then go over this left cord that's coming out of the snake knot, then under the left working end, then weave your end through these 3 cords. Start with an over, then under, then over. Pick up your right end and go past this left end. So past, then through the middle. Then pick up your left end. Go past this right end that's coming out of the snake knot and through the middle. Pull on all of the ends. and you have your lanyard knot. Now move it as close to the snake knot as possible. So pull in your cord and work it through the knot. Then the next cord. Like this. Do it with all 3 of your snake knot columns, then cut the ends, melt them, and you are done. After placing 3 lanyard knots onto the sides of your spinner, you're pretty much done. One thing that I usually notice is that the sides are a bit too flexible. You can fix that by immersing them in hot water or just use a lighter. If you are using a lighter, do make sure that you're not overdoing it because it will blacken your cord like you see here. So be careful about that. Guys, thank you for joining me in this tutorial. I hope it will come in handy. Thank you and see you next time.